Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to All About Sports. Cam Newton, the 2015 MVP winning quarterback, has agreed to terms on a one-year deal to join coach Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported. Rappaport added that the deal, which both sides have quietly worked on recently, is worth up to $7.5 million. Newton will now join a quarterback room that includes sophomore talent Jarrett Stidham and veteran Brian Hoyer and compete for the starting spot under center in New England for the 2020 season. I'm your host, Luca Vitale, and joining me today is Northwestern Wildcat Sriman Narayanan. How you doing?
I'm all right, Luca. How are you?
I'm all right. All right, so let's get right to it. How bad do the Bears look with the Newton signing?
Well, honestly, every move that this front office has made in the last few years just looks boneheaded, aside from that one Khalil Mack deal that they made happen. I don't see what the draw is in signing someone like Nick Foles in a year where we have a veteran talent in other positions. I think when you have a player like Cam Newton, who's not just another scrub, and he's not someone that hasn't proven himself. He was the MVP in 2015, and he had one of the best MVP seasons as quarterbacks could have. Injuries were an issue for him in the past, but I think he still possesses the talent. I don't really know if that's just an issue of the Bears organization, but as all the organizations in the NFL as a whole, leaving him on the free agency wire while everyone else, a lot of teams don't have quarterbacks that can support a team like he can. So yeah, the Bears don't look good with this deal. Patriots got to steal.
Yep. I mean, you may be a Broncos fan, but I don't want to sound like a homer here, but they look really bad. Okay. They passed up on someone that has incredible athletic ability, heart, and someone who won't be booed every time they step on the football field. When the Bears drafted Mitchell Trubisky back in 2017 as their number 2 overall pick, they drafted him to be their franchise quarterback. Everyone gets that. But when he showed his face, I remember this, it was at a Blackhawks game, and his face was shown in the Jumbotron. He was booed by the entire crowd, by the Chicago fan base. And how does that look on the Chicago Bears? It looks pretty bad. The mental makeup that Trubisky brings to the table just is not made for Chicago. But someone like Cam Newton would thrive in the environment of Chicago. Remember, we also have to take into account here that Cam Newton is a league former MVP from 2015. He led the Panthers to a 15-1 record. He led them to the Super Bowl in which they ultimately lost to Peyton Manning. And we know what he brings to the NFL world. Over the last couple of years, we know he's been injured and all, but the last time we saw him healthy, he was playing lights out. There is no question about that. We saw him go 6-2 in those 8 games under offensive coordinator North Turner. He was completing 67% of his passes. And we know he suffered that foot and shoulder injury, but prior to that, he hasn't been himself as a result of the foot and shoulder injury. And then he primarily got screwed over by the Carolina Panthers after they waited until the 11th hour to let him go, therefore compromising his markability and beyond. So as we speak, Sriman, you know how we have Mitchell Trubisky under contract this year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So they declined his 5th-year option, which just shows you that they made a horrible mistake of not drafting Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes, but not even signing Cam Newton to compete with Mitchell Trubisky. They decided to trade for Nick Foles and give up a 4th-round pick, which, in my opinion, it's not that bad, but the problem with the Nick Foles trade is the contract they got. Cam Newton is not a big contract. The Patriots, like you said, they got a steal off of that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Mitch Trubisky, he gets a lot of hate. He hasn't performed well. He didn't perform well last season. I still think their playoff run in 2018 was we saw some bright spots there. We saw some talent. Given whatever quarterback was taken into the Super Bowl that year, he was the alternate for the Pro Bowl. That wasn't just a fluke. I think he's got some talent. He's got a solid arm. He's very mobile. And he made that happen in North Carolina, and he made it happen in that first season. But I just don't think he's proven himself to the point of which he doesn't deserve worthy competition like Cam Newton. Nick Foles is a great quarterback, but I still don't see him. I don't see this front office making the decision of starting Nick Foles over Mitch Trubisky unless he has a camp that is just off the charts. I really don't think Mitch Trubisky deserves that quite yet. I don't know if he deserves a third season under the helm of or fourth season, right? His fourth season.
Yep.
Which in Chicago, when he's produced subpar numbers all but one of those years.
So the thing about Mitchell Trubisky that gets me, we know he hardly played in college, and then the Bears decided to draft him and all that, and we get that. He hasn't performed to the standards of which he was expected to be. He still can't read particular defenses, especially the cover two. He can't execute the RPO. And he doesn't use the mobility to his advantage to escape pressure from the pocket and extend plays. And then we talk about Cam Newton. Cam Newton is a dual threat. He can run with the football. He can fling with the football. You have a wide receiver in Allen Robinson, Anthony Miller, and then the uprising running back in David Montgomery. What Newton can bring to this offense is a whole new level. But then you got to look at Nick Foles here. The problem I have with Nick Foles is not just the contract, it's what he has done outside of Philadelphia's system. Nothing. He played for the St. Louis Rams. Then I think he got benched because of Sam Bradford or something, who's not even in the NFL anymore. Then he got benched in Jacksonville in favor of Gardner Minshew. And the thing is, he wasn't exactly set up for success in Jacksonville. But the problem that gets me is, can he win outside of Philadelphia? And what gets me is the coaching staff in Chicago. He has played under Matt Nagy. He has played under John DeFilippo. He has played under Bill Lazar. So we will see what he brings, because yet again, Trubisky can run. Can Foles run? No. And the front line is not exactly that strong.
Yeah, I think if Nick Foles, if there's a team that he fits better with, I think Chicago does make sense. Doug Peterson used him very well in that RPO offense that year they won the Super Bowl. A lot of those plays, consist of making that decision, and he's leagues ahead of Mitch in terms of reading just simple plays like reading that linebacker, see if he's floating out to the flat, and with players like Tariq Cohen, David Montgomery in the backfield, it really does help it helps his case. It depends how good of an offense Matt Nagy runs and how well he utilizes his weapons. It's something that we saw Philadelphia take great advantage of. We didn't really see guys like Nelson Aguilar and Alshon Jeffrey burst onto the scene like they did in the past until that 2018 or 2017 season when they got that championship. So it'll be fun to see how Matt Nagy adjusts his offense if Nick Foles somehow ends up being the starter, or if it stays with Mitch, what they teach him.
Yeah, and that is 100% true. I agree with all of that. But just imagine if the Bears got Cam Newton on this. It just seems like every time a quarterback gets signed somewhere that is just great. The Bears look horrible. They looked horrible when this deal was just first signed and all that. Because there were multiple reports that saying he was going to go to the Bears, going to other teams, this and that. But the thing is, they didn't want to pay for that huge contract for someone that has not been in the NFL for a couple of years now because of injuries. That's true. This deal that the Patriots just signed him to is a team-friendly deal, and it's not that much of a risk either. Cam Newton needs to prove to Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots he is still that guy back in 2015. He is still the MVP. He is still Superman. So we still need to see what he brings. But the thing is, the Bears, I don't know if they would have waited this long if they would have gotten Cam Newton. I'm not sure, but they do look bad regardless of what happened.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching another episode of All About Sports. Sriman, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you later.
Thanks for having me.